Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. We are going to be doing a video that I've seen a couple other creators do in the book community, and that is seeing how much I can realistically read in a school week. I just got back on campus from being home for the weekend. I have a class in about 40 minutes. I decided that before class I'm going to read a little bit, and I'll update you throughout the day and throughout the week of Monday to Friday. I think it's very interesting to see what kind of mood I'm in, to see how much I dedicate to reading and also schoolwork, and just showing that some days you can read a lot, but some days you just don't read at all, and that is perfectly okay. I feel like people are so hard on themselves when they don't read every day and thinking they're no longer a reader. You love books and you love stories, and that's all that matters. Also, 1989 Taylor's version shirt, one of my prized possessions. I'm very excited to see how much I read, and it's kind of like an experiment for myself. Let me update you on the book I am currently reading. I started it yesterday and I actually got pretty far into it. I think it's around 336 pages and I'm on page 140. My library copy, the digital copy I have through the library, is a little bit weird with page numbers. So I believe I'm around 140-ish pages. So the book I'm currently reading is The Hidden Life of Aster by Katherine A. Sherbrooke. I've never read anything from this author before, but I'm reading it through my library. And I've heard it's being compared to The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is a very popular book in general. It basically follows this woman named Aster, as she recently won a design contest. One of the prizes, or one of the innuendos of winning the design contest, is getting a tour of different designers, and then by the end of the tour in LA, she has a designer apprentice her or whatever. So it goes into depth about her time in LA, but she meets an up-and-coming designer and they become really good friends, and she gets a job as a body stunt model. He would make the clothes for stars or whatever, and she would be the one to show them off to the people who wanted to wear them to see if they're the right style. I'm really liking it so far. I definitely see how it's similar to Evelyn Hugo, but I also feel it's more understated than Evelyn Hugo, which I really like. We still have friendships, we still have family. It's definitely a historical fiction, because I didn't know this because I completely forgot, even though it's on the back of the book, but I forgot it was dual timeline. It goes to past and then present of 20 years in the future between Aster, as she's up and coming in LA, and then her daughter, what's her daughter's name? Her daughter, Lizzie. And we spend so much time in Aster's time frame for 12 chapters of the book, 40% of the book. I literally just got to Lizzie's time frame. Going 20 years in the future, I'm oh my god, what happened? I remember it was a dual timeline book, and it's not a spoiler or anything because it says it on the back of the book. I'm really interested to see how the two timelines converge, and as we see more of Aster's story and how her daughter reflects and learns about her family history. I feel the writing is really easy to read. I really like the characters. I like where it's going. I feel Aster is a more likable character than Evelyn, and while I love Evelyn Hugo's character depth and how she's not just a very likable character, I don't think I'm going to finish it today, but I feel I'm going to get through quite a bit. My goal is to get to at least page 200. That's the goal today, but we will see. Hello besties, it is a little bit later, actually a lot later, because I think the last clip I did was me reading in my school library, and it is now 10 o'clock. However, I didn't read anymore after that because I had lunch, and then I took a big nap, and that was so good for my body and soul. But I did end up reading 3 chapters, and I'm gonna share a little bit of my thoughts in the last 3 chapters. Not a lot of spoilers. So basically now it's getting into the moment of the dual timeline of the present coming in, because it goes to 1948 to 1975, and it keeps increasing as we learn more about the story. This always happens to me in dual timeline books, where I end up really enjoying one timeline or perspective, and then the other one is kind of like okay. Whenever I read it, I just always end up looking forward to the other perspective, usually the past perspective. Not really liking her daughter in the present chapters right now, because I get it, like working so hard for something and having such a passion, like you would do anything, and she's about to get like her big break. But the way she's treating her, like, friend, is also, like, wanting to be an up and rising star and a dancer, is just, like, so weird. And it gives very, like, friend jealousy vibes, because she knows that possibly her friend could get a leading part on a different show. Those are such valid feelings to replicate and explore. But the way she's treating her friend, and the way she's kind of, like, manipulating her friend into, like, changing how she feels about, like, not wanting to do the same show with Lizzie because she's interested in the other opportunity she has. It's, like, very hard to read. I also feel like Lizzie's afraid of, like, letting go and wanting everyone to stick together. I feel like she could be supporting her friend better. My other problem with this book is that through the information dumps and little plot points we see that connect to both of the timelines, they stop so abruptly in a way between timelines that it's like almost jarring. It doesn't stop at a place where you feel like, okay, I'm ready to like see what's going on in the future. Like there's still so many questions I have about the past, and that the information the author is giving us in the past chapters isn't connecting well, or like showing the fluidity to the present chapters. It feels like I'm reading 2 different stories rather than like 2 connected stories. That could change because I have like 200 something pages left. I don't know. It's a really easy read for me, and I connect with Aster so much. Like I care about the past chapters. I just am not liking the present chapters, and there's something about the way the author puts the plots together that feels very disconnected. I love the author's writing. Like I think the author's writing is great. Concept is great, and that they're exploring so many great characters and topics, but I don't feel like the story is giving the fleshed out justice it needs, as well as exploring the characters. Like there was so much I wanted to see with Aster and like her coming to terms with being like a mother. Before we get into like Lizzie's chapters in the present, it's where Aster finds out she's like pregnant or whatever, and a couple of days after that, and then we go to Lizzie's chapters, and then after Lizzie's chapters we go back to Aster, but then by the time we go back to Aster, Lizzie's already 1 year old. So we don't get any time of Aster's point of view where it's like through her pregnancy and what that means for her as a character and her dreams as like an up and coming designer. There are moments that I want to see for the character's growth that isn't happening, that I'm really disappointed with. Predict what I'm gonna rate this book. I would say probably a 3, which is like a good rating for me because it's not, there's things I like about it. I wish these characters were fleshed out more, and I wish they were given more emotional like complexity, I guess. But it's also taking the book for what it is. I'm enjoying it. I'm not regretting reading it. Like, I'm glad I found a new author. I'm just intrigued to see where the story goes. If any of you have read this book or read anything else from the author, let me know if this is like common like the writing style she has. I'm currently watching anime. If you don't know, I love anime. And I'm currently watching The Ice Guy and his female colleague, his cool female colleague. It's based off a manga series, which I didn't know, and it premiered in 2022, and I'm just watching it now. It is like the first adult romance in anime that I've seen. It's like not weird. And I usually don't like workplace romance, but this is like so wholesome and it makes me giggle so much. Like, they're so cute together. They're not even together yet. Their love language is acts of service, and the way they constantly show up for each other and remember little things that they like about each other, interests that they have, and just are so grateful to be in each other's presence. Like, the guy, every time he gets excited or like blushes, little like snow starts to fall, or like it'll start snowing like very fast, and it's just so cute. And while they don't like come right out and say it, there are ways you can see in their facial expressions and the way they look at each other and the way they present themselves to each other to show the complexity of like how their relationship is moving forward and like how comfortable they're growing as characters. It's so cute. It is currently Wednesday, February 21st, and the last time I talked to you was on Monday. I did not read anything. I believe I read a total of 24 pages. I'll put the number up here if I'm not. I'm hoping to read a little bit more later tonight, but hopefully I'll read more later tonight, and if I don't, well, that's realistic you're gonna get. Hello everyone, it is currently Friday. What day is it? The 24th of February. I didn't record anything last night. One, because I was very busy yesterday with school, but two, I came home. I was reading on my phone and I just ended up finishing The Hidden Life of Aster Kelly. I don't want to re-emphasize a bunch of points I made in the other clips earlier. I ended up rating it 2 stars. I'm still debating if I want to rate it 2 stars or 2.5. I did enjoy the characters. Remember how I said I wasn't liking Lizzie? I'm a liar. I'm a liar. By the end of the book, she was one of the only characters I could stand. Her and Aster were the only 2 characters I liked. Events got resolved, felt very rushed to me. There was a lot of shock value in this book. It did one of my least favorite like tropes or ending. By the end of the book, the author was making the characters like one-dimensional and everyone was like getting their happy ending. For these characters, like, I want them to be happy, but at the same time, there are so many moments and so much time that passed that could have been resolved quicker if people just communicated. While I do like a well-handled miscommunication trope, because I think miscommunication is a very valid part of the human experience in books, I didn't like how the author took these characters and their stories and made them almost like a quick fix. It made me sad. I did like the characters, I like the writing, like, I'm glad I experienced the book. However, it's definitely not a book that is one of my favorites. I think I'm gonna rate it a 2 star. And like, there's an author note in the back. Apparently, like, even though this is a fictionalized like account and characters, she takes inspiration, the author, from her family's memoir. So me talking about not liking the book after reading that, now I feel like an asshole. And that was about 336 pages of the book in total. We did from like page 150 to 336. How many pages is that? Hold on, math in my head. 200 and no, that don't seem right. Hold on. Well, I was correct. I messed up the first number. So I've read 186 pages. That's the 24 pages I read on Monday. Total so far this week. And this is the last day. 210 pages. There's always like a day, especially like during the end of the week of school. I typically read a lot at night. Like, I'm a night reader. That's where I thrive at night. I just love reading at night.